The people who live near the snake farm in the Java Island village of Churug get up early to go to work before the onset of scorching heat. The population practices Islam. 5 times a day, the Muslim call to prayer rings out from the top of the mosque. People here are accustomed to modest lifestyles. Europeans are welcome guests, but the locals view them with curiosity. The Russian zoologist Vladimir Adinchenko is off to see his business partner in Java. He's learned the local language. It's necessary for his work.
The first Russian-Indonesian dictionary came out only a short time ago, but villagers here don't understand many of the words in the dictionary. I had no worries when I left Moscow. My hope was that I'd be able to organize a good farm. On the whole, I've managed to... My hope was that I'd be able to organize a good farm. On the whole, I've managed to achieve my goals. Manpower here is cheap. You don't have to build anything substantial. I get the right climate, temperatures, and humidity and rain, all for free.
Vladimir and his business partner often drop by at this little tavern, run by an old man known here as Uncle Adui. A spicy soup made from goat giblets, rice, and grilled chunks of meat with peanuts called satay are the traditional dishes in Java's roadside taverns. But the food at Adui's is especially tasty. Businesses like these are almost always a family affair. The owner's relatives do the cooking. Adui enjoys talking to his regulars, especially those from the snake nursery. Vladimir has a reputation here for being generous and good company.
We like it here, we come here quite often. Delicious.
Today, this group of reptiles will be sent to the United States for sale. Recently, it became trendy for many Western Europeans and American zoos, as well as collectors, to buy snakes from here. Budianto Tasma, Vladimir's business partner, is fond of these rare creatures. His eldest son even takes part in competitions for snake owners. The farm is strongly opposed to those who illegally poach these rare species. The animals raised here are used for breeding to support their population in the wild.
In 10 years, we've made good progress in breeding all types of pythons existing in Indonesia. The only exception is Burl's python. I think we were the first to breed snakes in tropical conditions on an industrial scale. We mass-produce them, and I don't think that... I think we were the first to breed snakes in tropical conditions on an industrial scale. We mass-produce them, and I don't think that's ever been done before.
Officials at the Department for the Protection of Natural Resources inspect all consignments before export. The snakes and lizards will stay in their plywood boxes for a day and a half. It's vital to ensure this fragile cargo reaches its destination in good health.
Although they travel in bags for some 36 hours, these reptiles put up with the journey well enough, although they sometimes eat each other.
Dusk descends on Churug fairly quickly. Grandfather Saun, who villagers regard as a skillful snake catcher and expert, sets out on a nighttime expedition. The rare endangered species are not found around the village. A young friend uses a flashlight to show the way. The golden age of snake hunting and trading in Java's villages is a thing of the past. Saun hunts for reptiles to supplement his modest earnings.
Nice snakes.
Saun may be advancing in years, but he's still got a keen eye for catching both venomous and non-venomous serpents. He knows their habits, and he also knows how to heal bites. When he takes his catch out of the bag, they look like knotted rope.
Nighttime is the best time for snake hunting. Snakes are all over the place, but not on the ground. I always find them on tree branches, except cobras are never found there. I catch them on the ground.
They're called whip snakes. They have venomous teeth and glands, but they are tucked away at the back of the jaws. Therefore, if they bite a human, they can do no harm to him. But then people are immune to their venom anyway.
A great number of whip snakes live in the wild, but also close to people's homes. They excel in catching lizards and small birds during the day. They're also good at camouflaging themselves on tree branches so close to people's homes. They excel in catching lizards and small birds during the day. They're also good at camouflaging themselves on tree branches, even when a light breeze swings them back and forth. Saun demonstrates his snake-catching skills to his Russian colleague. Villagers come across these exquisite green snakes every day, but it's not advisable to pick them up.
The bamboo peat viper of the rattlesnake family is a venomous serpent. It is one of those rare species that witnessed agricultural rise of Java Island, and that settled in an anthropogenic zone. Its venom is quite toxic.
Its favorite prey is tree frogs, but if it bites a human, its venom causes blood cells to break down, eventually triggering acute kidney failure.
If someone wants to hold it, the best way is to pick it up from a hard surface on the ground, like this. Now it's trying to bite me. There is a venom even on the hook. It can use its teeth to control its prey, like a hand placing and guiding prey in the right direction.
Managing the mating process carefully is important to get the snakes to produce offspring. Female pythons are very picky when it comes to choosing a partner. By the way, Gosha, the blind python, is actually very popular with the ladies. He has no eyes, but he has sizable hind limbs which look like claws.
He uses the claws during mating to stimulate the female. He makes overtures to her by rubbing her with the claws and producing a tickling sensation.
Once the courtship and mating is over, the pair separate. It'll take 3 months for their offspring to appear.
We need to separate the female from the male now that the job's over and done with. She might be pregnant already, for all I know. Sometimes males become aggressive when the female is taken away. What's the big idea, taking away my girlfriend, they might say. Okay, let's take her home.
The farm's nursery will soon be replenished. Another batch of eggs, laid by a green python.
Okay, let's take her home.
The farm's nursery will soon be replenished. Another batch of eggs, laid by a green python, has matured. The mother patiently sits on the eggs in a small box, but soon she will have to leave it.
This is a very dangerous operation because females always defend their hatchlings, and here comes the baby. This very beautiful female is valuable because of her colour pattern.
It's an intense moment for the mother. She realizes her young are about to be taken. The snake specialists also have to be on guard because any mistake could prove dangerous.
Oops, be careful with the offspring. What a beauty. She's been sitting on the eggs for 2 months without water, so naturally her instinct for self-preservation has weakened. What she needs most of all now is water. These are aggressive snakes. I can see she's poised to bite. She's eager to kill off everybody around because her children have been taken away. That's it. Let's go home.
The angry mother is returned to the cage while Yuri and Oleg help the hatchlings break from their shells. In the wild, many of them would die. The boisterous ones have already broken through, and they can already bite.
One is out. Where are you going?
The work of a reptile and amphibian zoologist is rather like a midwife. The snake eggs are inside a soft, leather-like shell. Hatchlings use special teeth to cut through. Those who can't do it themselves need help. Otherwise, they will suffocate.
It's either from the top or on the side where the hatchling has made a cut. And there he is, alive.
There are several ways to tell that he's a newborn baby. One is the navel. Another is a trace of the umbilical cord. There is no trace of it in adults. The little one still has the yolk sac, the bulge on his belly. It will take some time to dissolve. The egg tooth is still there too. You can feel it if you pass your fingers over it.
The newborn snakes here will acquire the emerald markings of adults once they're a year to a year and a half old. Meanwhile, the infant snakes in their bright yellow and pink skins are in the hands of a The newborn snakes here will acquire the emerald markings of adults once they're a year to a year and a half old. Meanwhile, the infant snakes in their bright yellow and pink skins are in the hands of attentive carers.
Hey boy, I'll give you something to eat.
Eventually, these boisterous infants will be taught how to catch prey, an indispensable skill in adulthood. But for now, some of them are only too willing to take food, while others need persuading.
Not all of them will take food. We have so many problems of different kinds. So we must breed them ourselves until their second slough. And then it's okay.
In the wild, fewer than half of baby pythons survive until the first time they shed their skin. They fall prey to birds or small mammals. Here they have it easy compared to those in the wild. They even help them change their skins, known as slough.
This little baby has gone through his first slough, but there is still a piece of skin on his head. Unless it is removed, his skin will be deformed, and later this will affect his skull. His eyes will be the first target. If the eye shields are left in place, they will dry out and tighten his eyes.
Blood pythons have bulky bodies. They weigh sometimes as much as 20 kilos. They're generally aggressive, but there are exceptions.
If somebody touched her brother, he would attack them. They're not poisonous, but the bites are very painful. They have many big sharp teeth which bite and tear everything that's in reach. Now we're trying to breed a striped python which has skin like a tiger.
Vladimir regards
To breed a striped python which has skin like a tiger.
Vladimir regards his favorite female blood python as something of a pet. He takes her out for a walk and wants to measure her length, but she's not particularly keen to be out in the open. The sun is quite hot and she tries to sneak into a cool room.
My sweetie.
Vladimir wants to try to stretch her out so that he can mark out the position of her head and tail.
So it's 2 meters 25 centimeters. This is probably the biggest example of its kind. In the wild, you don't get snakes which are over 2 meters. But in captivity, they can grow much bigger. That's why we regularly measure them. Now we need to try and make this snake go back inside.
The weather in the tropics can be temperamental. Life moves quickly from the dry season to the rainy season. The Russians have long since become accustomed to the tropical climate. They go back to Russia for a few days several times a year, but they have no time for nostalgia. The work at the snake farm never stops, and these exotic and dangerous snakes need love and care.